Hello everyone, happy Wednesday. Welcome to another inspiring fireside chat. Today we have with us Natalie Sanders, the founder of Body Positive Barre. And we'll be talking about how to unlearn what a good body is and all those stereotypes that not only create issues in society but actually break our society. My name is Paola Shah. I am the founder and CEO of Tockets. Tockets are high-performance grip socks that enhance the foot-brain connection and give you confidence to step in any barefoot activity. Our mission is to elevate you through your feet. And then we're inviting now Natalie. Oh yeah, thank you, Natalie. You send everything. I think Instagram changed a couple of things, so I'm still learning.
Hi.
Oh yeah, you're here. Hi, Natalie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. Very good. Sorry.
Good.
Just back a little. Screen. I think Instagram changed a bit of settings and things, so kind of I'm still in the process of relearning this.
Yes.
So welcome. Thank you so much for joining and for taking this time to be with us today. We're very happy to have you.
Yes. Thanks for having me, Paula. I appreciate it.
Yes. And then, Natalie, I prefer my guests to introduce themselves because I don't want to miss absolutely anything. So who is Natalie today?
Yes. So my name's Natalie. I am a barre instructor in Austin, Texas, but I teach all virtually online right now. I'm just rounding out my first year of teaching, so have totally done everything virtual so far. And we've held a couple of in-person events, but I'm looking forward to that after COVID. But a body positive barre instructor here in Texas.
Great. And then Natalie, why did you choose barre among all the other fitness activities?
Yeah, I've always loved fitness. I've always loved moving. I feel like I've taken every fitness class under the sun in my 32 years on this earth. And I had an opportunity at a gym I was a member of here in Austin called Autonomy Movement. They were actually looking to hire barre instructors that were in marginalized bodies, and had an opportunity to train to be a barre instructor. I loved barre classes already, so took them up on that offer and decided to enter into the barre world where there's really not a ton of diversity in body types or race or anything like that. So definitely wanted to just kind of enter in and, see where it could take me.
Wow. And then, so how has been the journey?
Yeah, it's been really great. I love connecting with folks on Instagram and, just realizing there's a lot of folks that don't even know what barre is or have never taken a Pilates class or maybe even a yoga class and not felt comfortable doing so in their bodies. So it's been really great to be just a representation of a different type of body type that might be looking for movement but haven't felt safe in the past or haven't felt represented. So I'm so happy to be here to help kind of pave the way to welcome more folks into the barre space and really just into the movement space and in the fitness space in general.
Right. And then it's funny because of I'm, doing these fireside chats with people from different backgrounds, different types of fitness, Pilates, yoga, etc. And then there is something common in barre, and you are the third person that I interviewed and mentions the same, and it's about the lack of inclusivity and the lack of, I think it's, we feel good when we can identify somehow with the person that is in front of us leading us, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like, particularly in barre, there is a big gap there. And it happens probably also in yoga and in other workouts. It's not only related to barre. But for some reason, you're the third person that I interview that has kind of started a new career just because they couldn't find what they were looking for, like the person that they could identify with. And then, so it's great. And then could you please kind of go a bit deeper and explain what are those gaps, like what you didn't find, what is inclusivity in something like barre?
Yeah, I think in the fitness world in general, we use a lot of language and a lot of ways that we cue our bodies or think about our bodies when we're entering into the fitness space that are just antiquated and maybe not what folks are looking for anymore. But we cling to that, right? We want to say, hey, we're moving to lose weight. We're moving to, you know, look a certain way for summer or whatever it is. And instead, I think folks are kind of turning into like, I want to move to sleep better or to gain more mobility or strength or even flexibility. And I think that we're looking for specific types of workouts that will help that instead of just like a general class or, you know, something that they've taken before. Folks want to try something new to keep it exciting. And then, you know, I think that the fitness world has always been like a gatekeeper to who can teach and who can participate, and it's a business, right? So they want folks to fail so that they're continuing to come to more, right, to try to lose weight or whatever it is. And so I think that we're, by being just a bigger body in this community, is like showing that, hey, movement is for everyone, especially if we're just going to have all of these trolls or people online who are shaming us into losing weight or changing our body type. But then when we try to enter into the fitness space, we're still met with like, you know, the equipment doesn't accommodate our body size. We don't have any clothes to wear that'll fit us, that we like, that we want to move in. Like there's all of these different barriers that kind of all come into play. I think the more folks that are talking about it, the more folks that are participating as instructors and as people taking the classes, the better it will be. So having conversations like this is really important. To just kind of recognize where we're at. We're currently have a lot more ways to go, right, to be more inclusive, but it starts with conversations like this. I think inclusivity in particular, like there's just a lot to unlearn about different ways that we cue different body types, like noting that it's okay if you take an option or a modification during class. You don't have to be doing the hardest workout all the time, right? We can approach movement as like, what's bringing you joy, what feels good in your body, and that's going to vary body by body on like what feels good for them. So making that space that allows folks to really experiment with movement and feel comfortable doing so is definitely why I've been teaching.
Right. And then I'm going to ask you one of these hard questions. And I need to ask you this question because I have seen it in comments, not only on your Instagram, but in other accounts. And it's the fact that you are teaching in fitness with a larger body, it means that you are promoting obesity. What do you have to say to that? You respond to that?
I would always like, there's always a lot going on for each individual person. Doesn't matter if you're in a small body or a large body. You could be someone with an eating disorder in a small body or a large body. And, you know, you could be, you know, working out excessively, tracking every single thing, but we're not going to sit there and say you're promoting orthorexia or you're promoting and whatever, you know, like that. It's just existing, right? Like being in a large body in the fitness space isn't promoting being big. It's promoting movement and being okay in your body, right? In your good body, kind of what we're talking about today. Like it's just existing shouldn't be viewed as promoting obesity. Also, there's a lot of stigma around the word obesity and like what the definition is of that too, right? It's definitely a charged medical term, but I think that we really need to, there's no one who I know in the body positive fitness world that's saying like, let's work out to be more obese. Like that's never the message. The message is let's work out to feel better about ourselves. Let's make the space more inclusive so more people can also feel good in their body and move. It's certainly not just out here to promote being large. You know.
Right. And thank you for answering this way, because this is, we come back to how like the need of us as human to belong and to identify ourselves with someone else, you know. We get inspiration from different people and it's, you know, different terms. And then and this comes over and over. For sometimes it's large body, sometimes it's a skin color, sometimes can be this accent, you know, where you're from. So So I think this question also, and that answer that you gave apply to so many other things. So
Totally.
thank you. Yeah.
Yep, I totally agree. Like it's when you feel seen, that's when you're going to feel safe, right? To experiment, and not only with just movement, but you're exactly right with anything. Like, do I feel represented? Do I feel safe walking into the store today? Or it certainly can expand beyond the fitness world.
Right. And then, so Natalie, how can we unlearn what a good body is? So let's go a bit back on that, and it's like, from your point of view, what is the definition of today or the definition that society, has given us, and kind of the brainwash of what a good body is? Let's talk first about that, and then
I think we defined
that.
that. Yeah, a good body is certainly defined by the media, and what representation, right? What we see that's what we're told is a good body. We're told, to aspire to all these different things with a person who might have a lot more access than we do. Might it be money or medical procedures or a personal trainer, personal chef? There's all these different ways that we can, try to get to where someone who is in a good body might be. But I think what a good body to me is a body that I feel comfortable in, and that I feel, my mental health is doing okay today. I've eaten what I want to today. I've moved how I want to today, so my body feels good today. I think it's going to vary person by person on what is good to them. And they could have a medical issue going on inside that they're like, my body doesn't feel good today because I have these unknown answers that I need to go get. And I'll feel like I have a good body after I have some of those answers. It obviously can have some aesthetics tied to it as well. I don't think that there's anything wrong with having fitness goals tied to aesthetics if that's truly what you want. But I think that we need to examine why do we think that way? Why do we want these certain aesthetics to come into play? And who benefits from this? Is it truly you? Or is it society that you're going to be more accepted? You're going to find a seat at the table that fits your booty when you sit at a restaurant. You're going to fit into an airplane chair. So that's my good body, is I want to fit into that. So there's all different ways to define a good body. And I think it's very, very personal to each person.
Right. And I guess there is something that I feel we cannot separate, and is the body-mind connection, right? Some people have amazing bodies, but mentally they're not doing great, right? Like one doesn't reflect the other. And there is the opposite case as well, right? Like some people may have a body that doesn't fit the stereotype, but they are tranquil, they're happy, they're satisfied.
Exactly.
They enjoy
free life. Of something like free of an eating disorder that they've been struggling with, and maybe their body doesn't look good to society standards, but it's so much better for them. It's good for them to be now in this body. I think there's a lot of nuance on that topic.
And then, Natalie, who attends your classes?
Say it again. Who attends it?
Yeah.
All different kinds of people. I think people who attend my classes are looking for a space that's just free of diet culture. You're not going to hear me say like, we are sculpting our muscles to be long and lean. Like, that's never going to come out of my mouth during a class, because you can try to do that, but I don't know how effective it's going to be for everyone. There's a lot of diet that goes into that. I think the folks who take my classes just want to feel supported. They want a nice guided total body workout that's just free of any like unrealistic expectation. You'll hear me cue through class to take any breaks that you need, to grab a drink of water. I think we often associate group classes with like push and power through. I'm motivated by the person next to me who's going 10 times as hard as me, and instead I just kind of use it as a guide to, hey, follow along if you'd like, but take a modification or do something that feels better for you if you need it. But I have like non-binary folks. I have fat people in my classes. I also have people who carry thin privilege too in my classes. So it really, everyone kind of is welcome and attends.
Yeah, what I have noticed and what I have seen is like there are people with all body types that take your classes, right? From slim to large size,
Mm-hmm.
you know, different backgrounds, skin colors,
Yeah.
everyone, because it's about feeling comfortable, right? Finding
Yeah.
that place where you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
very
think that's so
important.
important, just to feel comfortable. Like if we're preaching as a society that you need to work out to be thin, to fit in, but then we don't provide the space to do just that, even if you were trying to lose weight, like it's just so contradicting, right? Like, okay, we don't have the space, but we want everyone who's fat to work out, but we aren't welcoming him in the space. It just doesn't make sense.
And then, so from your point of view, how do we start unlearning that old concept of what a good body is?
Yeah. I think it's learning from people who live in different bodies or have different lived experience, like making sure to seek out those folks, listen to their point of view, understand what challenges people face who are in a body that is different than yours. So really there's a lot of workshops and opportunities to pay those people out there, especially now it's all virtual. You can attend from everywhere. So it's a good opportunity to just learn how we define a good body and also how we can be more inclusive. I think another huge takeaway for me that I've learned is really separating like movement as a form of punishment and really celebrating what your body already can do, showing up today. However, maybe you know that you can't get up and down off of the ground very easily, so you choose to sit in a chair to do your seated portion, and just like honoring where you're at today, knowing maybe you have a goal that's a little bit different. And maybe it will be to be able to get all the way down onto the ground, but being okay with that right now. We don't have to always think about the end goal. We can just be content in our movement today and find it joyful by taking different classes and moving different ways.
Yeah, and that's a like great advice. And I think there is so much work to be done in all parts of society. So, what would you say to a 10-year-old today that is growing with a large size body, that is getting bullied at school, that she doesn't feel the support or the from even, you know, either teachers or the adults around that. And sometimes the adults even don't know what to do, what to say, how to react.
That's
So
such a hard question. I don't spend like a ton of time with kids right now. So it's hard to know exactly how.
You grew up when you were growing up, right? Like
yes. I think, you know, there's a lot of opportunities since we're connected all via Instagram or Facebook. There's a lot of opportunity to learn from a lot of different voices, and 10-year-olds certainly do have some access to that too. But I think we more focus on like what makes us feel good. So if like running a mile in gym class is really difficult, because it is really difficult, you know, finding different ways that we can honor what movement feels good and joyful from an early age. So maybe it's just a walk around the neighborhood, or maybe it's playing basketball with your friends outside, or swimming lessons in the summer. You know, what actually makes movement fun. So not a punishment, not something that has to be done every day, but like, what would you want to do every day? And then also looking at, you know, I do have a degree in food science, but I am not a registered dietitian. But making sure that we're separating where the food advice is also coming from, and making sure that makes sense for each individual person to explore what foods make us feel good and what maybe is more of a treat and makes us feel crappy later, but it feels good for our mental health. And how do we just make sure that we are in moderation on anything, right? So I think it's very nuanced, but I think celebrating movement instead of viewing it as a punishment to change our body will naturally have some like the younger generation kind of come into a good mental health place.
And then what comes to mind to me, and kind of I'm picturing a gym class, and is offering kids the option to do different types of movements. Not everyone have to go around and and follow, and you know, not everyone have to do the 20 jumping jacks in certain time. Right. And I think sometimes we are too square. Maybe
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
easier just to have 20 kids doing jumping jacks at the same time
Yes.
instead of having 4 groups of kids doing different
Yeah.
things, right?
Yeah.
And probably this is also what happened in fitness,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like,
Yeah. Right. We're taught what good movement or hard movement is, and then what easy movement is or gentle movement. And it's not like yoga is not easy movement, or even gentle yoga or restorative yoga can be really difficult for a lot of people. So instead of, it's all about the language that we're using. Instead of saying this is an easy level class, like, sure, it might be easy to the expert, but it might be really challenging to someone else. And so, by providing different examples of different movements so people can make their own choice for their body, have that autonomy, I think is important. And you nailed it with being able to choose gym class. I really liked that. Towards the end of my high school career, we were able to choose what movement we did, and I chose power walking because I'm like, I won't be a sweaty mess for class. Then it's embarrassing on a whole nother level. So I think being able to have some autonomy and give kids the opportunity to have some more autonomy over what their day looks like is important.
well, and I think you said something very key, and it's choices, right?
Yeah.
And then is when we have choices, we feel free, right?
Yes. Yes.
And especially kids are really wise. They're able to
Yes.
make the decisions that really are the perfect ones for their bodies,
Yes.
for their state of mind, and sometimes we adults want to put them in this very square box. Yeah, choices escape.
Yeah, choices is why, like, in my class for each movement there'll always be an option or two to do it a different way. Like I might be on my hands and knees doing a bird dog, one leg up, one arm up, but if folks don't like to be on their hands and knees, I say you can do this at the wall. And it's just hearing that permission, like, oh, I don't have to do it exactly how the instructor's doing it. I can do it up here because it's going to feel better in my body. I'm going to get more out of the movement. But we don't hear that a lot. We don't hear the option given or the permission that you can take it. It's equally as good because it's what's good for you, right? So,
right. And then Natalie, you were talking about language. How, if you were going to give a tip to a teacher, another bar instructor, any fitness instructor about changing the language of, this is the easy level, medium hard. How do you replace that language?
I think at least for me, like when I do some instruction, I'll say, this is really hard for me. And just like kind of rehumanize, and then I'll say, but this might be really easy for you. So you can intensify by pushing up more or by doing a full plank off of your feet, and just recognizing and allowing people to just realize kind of where their body is at. So when we cue, we just need to think about that not everyone is on the same fitness level as me. Not everyone in this class is on the same level. And we just need to adjust, literally using language like harder, easier, instead of maybe saying more intense, less intense. But it does take some practice, and asking for feedback from your students and your clients is a great way to do that. Encouraging other instructors to come to your classes. And I love taking other people's classes, and I haven't ran into a fitness instructor yet that doesn't want feedback, and giving some specific examples, like, hey, when you cued that we should hold this for 20 seconds, make sure you also cue to give permission that you don't have to actually hold it for 20 seconds. Hold it as long as it feels good, and then come out of the move and take a stretch, right? So it's just giving permission to your students is really important to cue through class, to take it at their own pace, so that they're not beating themselves up if they can't do every single move, the same way that the teacher might be able to.
Yeah. And then someone here made a comment saying, my yoga coach says, if this isn't available for you, try this.
We love it. That's a great example of
maybe a great way.
Yeah, it might change day to day too. Like one day you might be able to, hold the crow pose that you've been working on for months, but then the next day it might not come to you as easy, and that's okay. It's all right.
Yeah, and then let's switch gears a bit to you, kind of your journey as a business owner, because now you became kind of I think launching your own classes is entrepreneurship, right?
Yeah.
So how is that going for you? I have seen how you have evolved from few classes here to more classes. Now you launch your website.
Yeah.
The number of followers have increased. So what do you think have been key for this evolution, positive evolution on your journey?
I think just for like being someone that I like just wish existed, I was like, well, I can go do this. Like I can go forge the way and just do this. It takes a lot of just showing up every day of and being your most authentic self. So not trying to fit into a box, not worried about what the person next to you is doing. And I'm very privileged. I also work full time. So my bar income is not my only income, which is like such a blessing. But I think recognizing where we're at and then setting some attainable goals and working through that is really great. It's given me a lot of room to be able to experiment. Like I just recently added a Saturday class. This is the first month that I'm doing that and it's going great. If it wasn't and I wasn't getting attendance, then I'd be able to just take it off and maybe try a different day. I love having that autonomy. And really staying engaged with the folks that take my classes. Like, what do they want to see next? Is it a different length in time? I'm also toying with recording so folks can take them later. But being real to myself, knowing like I'm not a video editor, so I will hit record, but that's it. I'm not gonna like edit it into like some beautiful video because I don't have the skills or the time yet to do that. But being able to like decide what I want to do next is really, really cool. And it's just been kind of like a life goal to own something that's my own. So it feels really neat to be able to have done that during this year.
Yeah, and it's amazing.
I love it.
Yeah, 3 words came to my mind. If that is kind of explain a bit of the success in your journey, that is authenticity, engagement, and flexibility.
Yeah. Yep, exactly.
Yeah, I love it. And then I have 2 more questions. I could have more questions, but I just don't want. I know you're working. I don't want to take.
We could chat forever. I know.
Of your time, but so Toggets is all about feet, and as you know, feet are a very important part of our body. Is the root, or the feet are the root of our body. And at Toggets, we love feet, and we believe we can elevate women, men, anyone through their feet. And this is part of our big mission. But what I have found is like not everyone loves their feet. Some people ignore their feet.
Yes.
Our socks in particular, the toes are out because we want to enhance that foot-brain connection and for the feet to become part of the workout. What's your relationship with your feet? Or what has been your relationship with your feet? Do you like them? You don't like them? How it has changed, for example, since you started the bar or wearing tallest socks like Toggets?
Yeah. First of all, I love my Toggets. They're all so beautiful. My mom, who I was watching here a minute ago, gifted me some for Christmas.
I
and
love
I know, and I was like, what are these cool toeless socks? So I've purchased like several more pairs now. But I think I've always been someone who is, I'm like looking at my feet now, but I've always been someone who is like, feet are kind of weird, but taking barre, learning that you can work out without gym shoes has been very interesting. Just learning kind of like the fundamentals of lifting and like how we press into all 4 corners, like listening to cues through yoga about our feet and different ways that our body feels when we lean on different edges of our feet. I've just done a lot more just learning about what our feet do for balance and for strength. And I am a big fan of the toeless socks because it reminds me to paint my toenails, which is like a good self-care thing for me. And I think, I think that it's just another way to connect with ourselves. Like when we're taking the time to stretch. I love during yoga when people cue to do some foot massage during yoga, and like really it's just another way to like feel your body and be present in your body. So, I'm now a big fan of feet, even though I don't really want to touch anyone else's feet, but but I like my own.
Great, great, thank you. It's very nice to see or to learn, one, that you love kids, and two, that you take care of your feet.
Yeah.
And actually, talking about that, I always forget to show, but give me 1 second, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I should have been better prepared.
No.
But we're going to send you actually one of our gift sets that has some fit product, and then is a very special customized fit cream.
Oh,
and
nice.
then it will come also with a liquid soak. So after teaching many of our classes, you can
Perfect.
take care of your feet, and then will come in this beautiful,
so cute
bag to keep your tockets, or you can give tockets to someone else, etc.
I love it. Thank you.
We will be sending you
thank you
as a way to say thank you for joining us. And my very last question is, who is your inspiration, or who has been your inspiration in this journey?
I think I attribute a lot of my self-love and like body love, of course, to my mom, who is here watching, who's always like encouraged us to just like be ourselves and be strong and confident. I'm the oldest of 4 girls in my family, so it's lots of women and lots of confidence going on. But I also think that entering into the body positive space, I always like to credit Black women and women of color who've been just speaking out on this forever. People like Jessamine Stanley, Gabby Gregg, who I've followed for a very long time, who encouraged me to purchase my first bikini like 7 or 8 years ago and just be proud and be who I am. I think that Black women specifically like really have been a loud voice in the radical self-acceptance that's required of them every single day. And so following those women in particular have certainly inspired all of my confidence in who I am today.
Thank you. And I love how, we can get inspiration from anyone.
Yeah.
And actually, you have been an inspiration already for all of us here, and the ones who are going to watch this in the future. And also for many people, even if their bodies are not large, even if they fit within that. Yeah. Because I think that self-acceptance of the body is one of the hardest parts.
It's so hard.
To make a confession here, because I'm in the kind of opposite spectrum in the sense that all my life I have been very, very thin, and coming from Colombia, a country where the curves are so important. I was teased so much all my life. And then it was years later, after I started doing meditation and other practices, that first I realized, oh my God, I never loved myself. Or I never really accept the body how it was, Yeah. And then and that happened after being like 30 something. So believe me that what you are doing is going even to impact more people that even you can imagine. So thank you so much for your authenticity.
Of course.
And thank you so much for engaging in the way how you do it.
Thank you. Yeah, I think I always kind of remember, who is profiting off of me hating myself or my body or disliking? It's like someone who wants to sell me something to change my appearance. And I'm like, no, enough of that. We're already good as we are, right? So
yeah. And then we just need to enjoy it and allow others, or help others also to enjoy who they are.
Well, thank you, Paula, so much. This has been wonderful.
Yes, thank you so much. Just could you please remind us all where we can find you, your website, and maybe the days that you give classes in case anyone wants to join?
Yeah, I actually teach tonight at 6 Central Time, and then I teach Saturday morning. It's a 30-minute class tonight during the week, and then I teach Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. for 50 minutes Central Time as well. but you can join me from wherever. I teach all virtually on Zoom. My Instagram handle is right here, Body Positive Bar, and then my website is the same, bodypositivebar.com. Your first class is always free. There's a little banner at the top of my website. If you just enter the code FIRST FREE. I also offer every first Friday of the month, so coming up in a couple of weeks, at 5 p.m. on Friday, I do a free 30-minute class as well. Anyone can join, even if you've taken a free class from me before. Last month we had like 40 people in class, and it was really fun. It was a good way to just head into the weekend. Yeah, I would love to have anyone in class, or shoot me a DM if you're like me, where you like to know all the details about the class before going into it. That's okay. I will answer them for you. But it's an accessible workout at home. We use just our body weight. We use props around the house, so nothing special is needed. And we just have a lot of fun. The music's fun. The vibe is fun. So I'd love to have everyone come.
I will try to join. I will try to join on Saturday.
Yes. Come on in. Love to have you.
Thank you so much. I send you a big hug.
Yes.
And then
have a good day.
Yeah. Enjoy the rest of the week.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.